G'day all, Barger here. Today is the day I'm going to show you how to keep the goats out of your dog food. Now, around this area, especially coming on winter, there's a fair bit of dingo activity going on. So to look after me goats, I've got a couple of Marimas, which I keep in here. There's also a mesh fence around about 30 acres for them to keep them safe as well, but you just don't know. I've had a ruin here and the Marima's dealt with him pretty quickly. So I built myself a little shelter for the doggos to get into so they can have a feed and comfort. They can get away from the goats for a bit, have a bit of a rest. That's Rufus. And I also put a, I don't know if you can see it there, a big screen TV for them so they can watch Lassie or something like that. Or Skippy. They like Skippy. Now, my financial manager pointed out that we're going through a lot of dog food. So I had to do some investigating. I know this sounds hard to believe, but the goats were getting into the dog food. So what I did is I googled how to keep the goats out of your dog food, and I found somewhere someone reckons you put a triangle fucking shaped stupid fucking thing there so only the dogs could get through and not the goats because their horns hit or some shit. But what happened was the goats were turning their head and they were getting in. Mainly the does are getting in there, the nannies. So I had to think of something different. So this took quite a few bears to try and figure this out. So my next step was a stern warning. I put some signs up for them so they wouldn't go in there and they knew where their boundaries were, and I gave them all a good talking to. For some reason that didn't work, so I even threatened them with a razor blade in my hat and just kept saying to them, there's nothing in here, goats, but they just kept getting in there and eating all the dog food. So when I need to think, that's where I go. I grab a beer, sit up there, muck around with the dog and make some decisions and observe. And that, in this situation, was the best thing I ever did, was sitting up there and observe. Is that some Sheila over there with a peg in her nose, stirring up the bottom? Nah. So sitting up here, a few things get to realise about what do goats like, what do dogs like, what do goats don't like, what do dogs don't like. And it becomes pretty obvious what the answer was. Of course, the solution is water. The dad joke. But yeah, they're in there having their tucker now. Goats are sitting there sucking eggs. And the boys are there having their dinner. Goats can't have any. There's heaps of grass. So originally I just had the pod there, but it kept going empty. It's pretty good water. Needs a washout actually. Everything needs a washout here. But I set up this twin pod. I didn't think it'd work, but it did. It worked quite well. Put a breather on the side so the bottom pod could pull up. And just to fill the whole thing, we've got a little plate valve there. Comes off the roof into the double pod. You see that? Into the double pod, and the double pod, when it fills up, overflows into my other pods, which overflows to water, which needs a good clean out. Then that overflows into the next pond, which equalises into the last pond. So all up there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 litres of water. All freebies. Here comes Droopy now. Hey Droopy, where's Muzzy? You coming out, boy? You come through? There you go, good boy. Where are you, Moz? You still eating? Oh, my idea. Here comes Mozzie. Hey, Moz. Oh, he's going back again. I've never seen it before on anywhere, but it works a treat. It's better than an absolute stupid triangle thing. Ah, Mozzie, you know you're on camera, don't you, mate? Come on, boy. That round his neck is just, he was getting through the mesh fence, so that held him up for a bit. Once he gets a bit bigger, I'm going to let his collar out, I'll take that off. Yeah, there she is. How to keep goats out of your dog food.